Alright, hello everybody, my name is Leland, and today I'm playing a little bit of the playground thing. It's basically just like a test build with like a bunch of different kinds of maps to see the how smart and how much IQ this AI has that I made here. Right now I'm using Mr. Whiskers and I'm playing as him. I might add this AI to break in because it's a pathfinding one. When it's chasing you, it might try to cut you off, and it can hear sounds. If I just run into this wall, it was just like, what the hell was that? But yeah, that's it right now. Look, he's coming for me. I'm just barely faster than him. I'm going around. Oh, apparently so is he. Oh, never mind. He's not chasing me anymore. Basically, I might use I might use this AI for like a stealth kind of game, because for right now, if you like bump into a wall, he can like go to your location. See, look, he's walking around, and then I bump into this wall and he heard the sound. Now he's coming over here. So I might add it to like a stealth horror game. That's kind of what break-in already is. So I might add this AI to like break-in too, if that ever comes into like development. But for right now, because I don't know what else to do in this video, I'm just going to share my thoughts about the game Hello Neighbor, which is what Break-In is very closely based on. Now, I never got to play any of the alphas or betas. I have the full game with like the big windmill and stuff, and the train and the roller coaster. So I'm gonna share my thoughts on that. And so, Hello Neighbor, for those of you who don't know, is an indie puzzle stealth game. I don't know if you can really call it a horror game because it's not that scary, but it's a indie puzzle game where you have to break into your suspicious neighbor's house to like get into their basement and stuff, and the puzzles are always like really crazy, and that's kind of what I like about it. It's super fun. And another thing I like about it is the physics, because those are just hilarious and stuff. But it was a game made by I think it's called Tiny Build Games. Tiny Builds, and it was made with Unity, so I can understand the funny physics. But the first, like, this game takes place in like 4 different acts: Act 1, Act 2, Act 3, and the finale. Now the finale, we are going to get to at the end of this video, because you know it's the finale. So let's just get started with the first act. In Act 3, the person we play as a kid. In the first and second act, we play as a kid, and then in the third and fourth final act, we play as the adult version of the kid. So basically, in the first act, you go into your neighbor's house. All you have to do is just get a key in his house, and his house looks pretty normal compared to what it looks like later on. So there's not much really to say about this. The neighbor has a pretty normal house. Your job is to go in there and get a red key, and that's about it. This act is kind of short, and there are multiple ways to break it and just speedrun it real fast. But not a lot of glitches have really happened to me, so I've had pretty solid playthroughs in my life. So now we're gonna move on to the second act, because I like Hello Neighbor. And now the second act, you actually get now this is gonna have spoilers in it, so if you haven't played Hello Neighbor and you don't want to get spoiled, then just go play it. But Hello Neighbor Act 2, you actually get caught, and you wake up in the basement, and then you have to do this weird thing with the door, or like you just look around and wait for like a cardboard kid to unlock the door for you. I know it's kind of weird. Doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, but neither do any of the games that I make. Makes sense. See, we both just walked through that wall. But anyways, once you escape the basement, you find out that you're actually trapped like with the neighbor in his house. So I don't know, I guess he changed his mind about wanting to keep you out. And so the neighbor's house got a little bit bigger. It looks like he just took chunks of other people's houses and just kind of super glued them onto the sides of his to make like a ultra house. No, this is like a little mega house, like a Chad. But now you gotta go in his house. There's like 3 different ways to escape, I think, or 2. There's something you have to do with a trampoline that I've never been able to do. There's something you have to do with like a water pipe or something. And then there's just, you know, unlocking the main door with like, I think the crowbar and or the wrench and stuff. Now this act does take a little bit longer, and there are some fairly interesting parts of the puzzle now that include like filling a place up with water and then freezing it, I think, and something to do with wires and pipes and sewage and stuff. But Act 2 is where it gets pretty interesting and the puzzles get a little more unique than just finding a key to open a door. A regular key that opens a regular door! But anyways, this is where Act 3 comes in, and now this contains even more spoilers. But anyways, Act 3, we play as the adult version of the person we played in Act 2 and 1. And yeah, we got evicted from our little our depressing little hotel room that we have with like 1 apple in it. So after that happens, the person decides to move back to Ravenbrooks. That's the name of the town in this Hello Neighbor game. That's the name, Ravenbrooks. So yeah. But once we move back there, we find the neighbor's house just like completely in ruins. It is just to the grounds, and our house isn't really looking like it's in the best shape either. But anywho, the protagonist goes inside his house, you know, unpacks, does everything, gets comfy. And then this weird thing happens where like you fall asleep, but you wake up at night and the neighbor's house is back. It's like, and it is gigantic. It is huge. It's like I thought the house from Act 2 was a Chad, and then this is like a Giga Chad's great grandfather. It is ginormous. It has a windmill and like a roller coaster and everything, and there's a lot of stuff that goes on in this house, like so much. And honestly, this is my personal favorite act, just because of how many interesting things happen in it. And we actually get a look in the basement. I mean, we got a look in the basement in the first act, but it was kind of boring, so you don't really do much except for walk around, flip switches, and walk arounds. So yeah, but anyways, in Act 3, the neighbor's house is gigantic. It has like 1,000,000 floors, and you're just expected to walk in there and know what to do. I mean, it's easy. You go in there, find 1,000,000 keys, unlock 1,000,000 things, and do 1,000,000 things without getting caught by like a neighbor with probably like 1,000,000 like lawsuits and stuff because he has a Hitler stash. So yeah, Act 3 is once again my personal favorite because of there's so much to do and so many places to explore. But Act 3 also does have some criticism because the neighbor only really walks around in the first and second floors. I mean, once he chases you up to the 3rd and 4th floor, he either falls down to his death into his yard or just gets stuck. But I don't know. I also like it because it introduces the toy gun, which I finally got, like the rifle. I got it, and it's really fun, and I like to kill the neighbor with it, even though he doesn't actually die. So yeah, Act 3 is pretty crazy. And now we move on to the final act. I know this video is actually kind of short, and stuff. But the final act, basically in the final act, you know, I don't really know what happens in like the boss fight, but there's like the neighbor is a giant now and there's a house on his back apparently. It's like the neighbor curled up in a ball and he was like a mountain, and then we moved in on his back and he woke up and he was like, "Hey yo, get off of my back." So then we just have to do a bunch of stuff with like use a toaster to launch ourselves into the sky and basically beat up the neighbor. It's basically like if Honey I Shrunk the Kids went wrong and the kids wanted revenge on their father. So after that happens, you go inside the house and there's this weird thing where like there's like a shadow person and you have to protect a mini version of yourself from it, like, but every time you protect yourself from the shadow person, you get a little bigger, which makes it kind of harder to like progress through the house that you have to protect the kid inside of. But once that's done, you wake up from your dream and realize that none of it actually happens, and then that's just the end of the game. I mean, the music for the main menu and the end credits are actually kind of soothing. I like them. They sound nice. But yeah, that's the entire game. You find out that the entire act, none of it was even real. Which means I could have killed the neighbor if I wanted to. But anyways, the final act is really interesting, and I feel like kind of complicates the lore. And I still don't know what the Shadow Man has to do with anything. I feel like it's like us being afraid. There's also this weird secret where you can go out of bounds and like just explore the town like that surrounds you and the neighbor. Apparently the neighbor's name is Mr. Peterson too. At least that's what I call him. I don't know where I got that from, but that's his name. Mr. Peterson. But yeah, that's what the entire game is. It's a pretty decently well made game with pretty like weird physics and pretty unique and like wacky puzzles and stuff that you have to do. But Hello Neighbor is a pretty solid game and I kind of like it. I'm very horrible at like talking about games and stuff and like reviewing them, but I guess if you guys want me to do more reviews about games and stuff, then I can. So yeah, anyways, that's about it. So Mr. Whiskers, if you would stop chasing me so I can do my outro now. Mr. Whiskers says sorry. Anyways, goodbye everybody. I hope you enjoyed this video, and yep, see you later. Bye.